The whispers coming from behind the scenes about upcoming script directions are absolutely explosive, and what they might be planning for Josslyn is downright criminal. If you thought the WSB storyline was simply going to fade into the background with a neat little bow, you are sorely mistaken. We are hearing that the writers are gearing up to pull the rug out from under us in a way that will shatter everything we thought we knew about this current regime, and it is going to leave one of our favorite young heroines in absolute ruins. If you ask me, guys, Josslyn has been playing with fire for way too long. She thought she was invincible after brokering that secret deal to secure freedom for Jason and Valentine. She truly believed she could play in the big leagues, manipulating the world's most dangerous intelligence agency as if it were a college debate club. But the reality is far more terrifying. After being officially recruited into the WSB by Brennan, Josslyn is about to realize that she is not the one pulling the string. She is merely a pawn on a much larger, much darker chessboard, and the people she is dealing with do not play by any rules she understands. Once Josslyn gets deeper into the organization, my theory is that she will start to notice the cracks in the facade. She is smart, she is observant, and she has that natural investigative instinct. She will begin to see that there is a massive hidden agenda behind the WSB's recent operations in Port Charles. She will notice redacted files, missing agents, and operations that simply do not add up. Kang Tham GSO, as they say, the more she will realize that even as an official agent, she is being kept completely in the dark about the true, sinister nature of the agency's goals. This is where the domino effect truly begins. Driven by her relentless need for the truth, Josslyn will likely go rogue, secretly investigating the WSB and Brennan from the inside without reporting to her superiors. She will dig into encrypted servers, follow a paper trail of black money, and start piecing together a puzzle that is far too dangerous for her to hold. But here's the brilliant twist. What if Brennan catches her? Instead of terminating her on the spot, what if Brennan actually We all know Brennan has a complicated soft spot, perhaps tied to his lingering fascination with Carly. Imagine, if you will, Brennan cornering Josslyn, not to kill her, but to warn her. In a moment of unexpected vulnerability, he might confess a fraction of the truth, exposing the vicious cycle of corruption, assassination, and blackmail that truly runs the WSB. He might try to protect her by telling her just enough to scare her away, but by doing so, Brennan seals his own fate. He becomes a liability to the agency, a loose end that desperately needs to be tied up. Enter Z. We know Z is ruthless, calculating, and completely devoid of mercy. If Z catches wind that Brennan is getting soft and leaking classified intelligence to a rookie agent like Josslyn, he will not hesitate to act. But Brennan is a high-level operative. He knows too much to simply be fired, and a messy public assassination would draw too much unwanted attention. So Z orchestrates a brilliant, manipulative scheme. He decides that Brennan needs to disappear permanently from Port Charles, and the only way to do that convincingly is to stage his death. And who better to execute a phantom assassination than a ghost? This is where the unholy alliance between Z and Cassius comes into play. We already know that Cassius is secretly alive, lurking in the shadows while the rest of the town mourns him. Z, utilizing his immense power and reach, likely recruits Cassius for this exact purpose. Cassius owes Z, or perhaps Z is holding something over his head. Either way, Cassius is tasked with pulling the trigger in this elaborate theatrical performance. Picture the scene, ladies. It is the dead of night by the Port Charles harbor. The fog is rolling in thick off the water. Josslyn, following a lead, tracks Brennan to the docks. She hides behind a shipping container, her heart pounding in her chest. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shadows. The moonlight hits his face, and Josslyn's blood runs completely cold. It is Cassius, the man she thought was dead, the man who caused so much terror. Before she can even process the shock of seeing him alive, Cassius raises a suppressed weapon and fires directly at Brennan. Brennan goes down in a pool of blood. Cassius coldly steps back, holsters his weapon, and vanishes into the thick fog, leaving Brennan's lifeless body on the concrete. Josslyn is left paralyzed, hyperventilating, in the dark. She firmly believes she has just witnessed a brutal, cold-blooded murder. She has absolutely no idea that the bullets were blanks, the blood was theatrical, and the entire scene was a meticulously crafted illusion designed by Z to help Brennan vanish into the wind. The psychological trauma of this moment will completely shatter Josslyn. She is a young woman from a legacy family, yes, and she has seen her fair share of mob violence through Sonny and Jason. But this is different. This is the government. This is an agency she swore allegiance to. She will be terrified knowing that she is the sole witness to a murder committed by a dead man. If she speaks up, who would ever believe her? If she stays silent, the guilt and the fear will eat her alive. But Josslyn is brave, perhaps to a fault. My theory is that she will march straight into Z's office to report the assassination, completely unaware that Z is the architect of the entire nightmare. This is when the trap violently snaps shut. Z will not comfort her. Z will turn the tables with terrifying precision. He will look her dead in the eye and deny everything. He will use her frantic claims about seeing a dead man commit a murder to paint her as unstable, hysterical, and unfit for duty. Z will use this perfectly orchestrated event to completely discredit Josslyn. He will strip her of her badge, revoke her security clearance, and unceremoniously throw her out of the WSB. But he won't stop there. To ensure her absolute silence, Z might even frame her, planting evidence that implicates her in Brennan's disappearance. He will make it abundantly clear that if she breathes a word of this to the authorities, to Carly, or to Jason, she will spend the rest of her life in a federal black site. She will be silenced, isolated, and cast out into the cold. For a while, Josslyn will be completely broken. She will question her own sanity. She will wonder if she hallucinated Cash. She will wonder if Carly was right all along about the dangers of this life. The WSB will have successfully neutralized the threat she posed. But you cannot keep a strong woman down forever, especially not one with her bloodline. After the initial shock wears off, the fear will slowly curdle into a deep, burning rage. And then comes the ultimate, earth-shattering twist. As Josslyn secretly continues to dig, perhaps finding a burner phone or a hidden encrypted file Brennan left behind, she will discover an impossible truth. She will find proof, a recent financial transaction, a satellite image, a coded message proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Brennan is still alive. The realization will hit her like a freight train. The blood, the gunshot, the dramatic escape by Cassius, it was all a play. She was manipulated. She was used as a pawn to legitimize a fake death. This revelation will change Josslyn forever. The naive college student who thought she could play spy will officially die, replaced by a hardened, lethal, and relentlessly determined woman. She will realize that the WSB is not an agency of justice, but a syndicate of lies. She will understand that Z, Brennan, and Cassius played her for a fool, exploiting her youth and her trust to execute their dark agenda. From this moment on, Josslyn will no longer be fighting for the WSB, she will be fighting to destroy it. She will transform into a rogue operative, operating entirely off the grid, utilizing everything she learned from Jason and Sunny to wage a one-woman war against the agency. She will vow to hunt down Brennan, expose Cassius's resurrection, and drag Z's corrupt empire into the blinding light of day. But as the dominoes begin to fall, we are left with a terrifying, lingering question. If Josslyn goes to war against the most powerful intelligence network on the planet, she will inevitably drag Carly, Jason, and the rest of her family into the crossfire. Will her desperate crusade for truth and vengeance finally bring down the corrupt titans of the WSB, or will it trigger a catastrophic retaliation that wipes out everyone she has ever loved?